Sport. Shakespeare and sport. A lot of references, mostly in the images, mostly in metaphors, which pick up words which we don't necessarily recognize nowadays, which refer to falconry or archery or jousting, which are there in the language and everybody would have recognized straight away. Bowls is a common one. Fencing, wrestling. In As You Like It, there is a wrestling match. Charles the Wrestler. Three young men of excellent growth. The eldest of the three wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him, and broke 3 of his ribs. There's little hope of life in him. So he served the second, and so also the third. So this is the guy in the court who is telling Rosalind and her friend Celia and their clown servant Touchstone about this. What is the sport, says Touchstone, monsieur, that the ladies have lost? Why, this that I speak of. Thus men may grow wiser every day. It is the first time that ever I heard breaking of ribs was sport for ladies. But of course it is the excitement of this, exactly this possibility that Orlando will have his ribs broken when he challenges Charles the Wrestler. Orlando being the hero of the play, Rosalind going to fall in love with him, and Orlando's wicked elder brother having set up this wrestling match. Bowls. There is an episode in Richard II when the Queen, Richard is being deposed from a king. Bolingbroke is going to take the crown from him, and the Queen, distraught, there is a scene, Richard II, Act 3, Scene 3, the Duke of York's garden, enter the Queen and 2 ladies. What sport shall we devise here in this garden to drive away the heavy thought of care? And one of her ladies in waiting says, Madam, we'll play at bowls. To which the Queen replies, 'Twill make me think the world is full of rubs, and that my fortune runs against the bias. Now the bias is the weight on the side of the bowl, which when the big wooden ball is rolled towards the jack at the far end, makes it travel in a circuitous route. It is bias is the weight on the side. Apparently in the history of the game of bowls, biases were only just introduced in the 16th century. And indeed, one of the interesting things about this is that it clearly indicates that ladies did play at bowls at this time. It was a sport which had, along with other sports, at some time been forbidden, I think because of the gambling elements of it. But certainly she is thinking of this and says, "'Twill make me think the world is full of rubs, and that my fortune runs against the bias." It is not how she expected bowling the ball when she married Richard II, the king, that this is what would happen. Now the world is full of rubs, and a rub is an impediment in the lawn which will make the bowl shudder or go off in a different direction. And this is quite a repeated image, so that we have in Henry V, when Henry is planning his expedition to France to fight the French, and he says here, "We doubt not now, but every rub is smoothed on our way." So here is the image of the bowling green and those which would divert the bowl, and Henry is now set for France, having found out some traitors who would betray him, and all is set, and now every rub is smoothed on our way. Fencing. As a fencing match ends the play of Hamlet. Hamlet has been in New England, and when he comes back, there's this extraordinary scene in the graveyard where he ends up fighting in the grave with Laertes. And Laertes, whose father is dead and wants revenge on Hamlet, is set up by Hamlet's uncle Claudius for a fencing match in which we know that Laertes' foils are poisoned. So the messenger comes from King Claudius to offer Hamlet the chance to fight Laertes. Now, this is one of the things, it's like when the actors arrive in Elsinore, that Hamlet, who a lot of the play is distracted and depressed and angry with his mother and desperately trying to work out how to obey the ghost who wants him to murder his uncle. But when the actors arrive in Elsinore, it's rather the same here. This offer of a fencing match, sporting, theatre, these are things which really interest Hamlet, which take him away from all his troubles of life and get him to really enjoy something. And so Hamlet is into enjoying the idea of the fencing match with Laertes. But of course, Horatio suspects that the king is planning something, and he says to Hamlet, "You will lose this match, my lord. You will lose this wager, my lord." And Hamlet says, "I do not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in continual practice." Now, the he that went into France was Laertes. He went back to Paris right at the beginning of the play. And we cannot imagine that Hamlet has been in continual practice for his fencing. He hasn't been down to the gym every day. We've seen him struggling with all sorts of other things. So this is just one more of these quotations of these moments in Hamlet when, what exactly does he mean? Is this a joke? Or does he really mean he has been in continual practice from there? But it's one of those extra things in Hamlet which make us puzzle when we come to read the script, having seen the play, of what exactly did Hamlet mean when he said that.